All right, let's get right into it. This is your personal, data-driven pronunciation diagnostic based completely on the recording you sent over. We're going to break down exactly what's happening with specific sounds and give you a clear roadmap for what to practice. So, let's dive in.
So, the big question right off the bat is probably this. Just how close are you to a native speaker's pronunciation? We've run a full analysis on your phoneme accuracy, your intonation, everything, to come up with one single score. Let's see what it is.
Okay, so your overall score is a 65 out of 100. Now, what does that 65 actually mean? Well, it tells us you're at a really solid intermediate level. People can definitely understand you, but there are a few very specific, very consistent sound patterns that are holding you back from that next level of clarity. And you know what? That's actually great news because it means we know exactly what to target and fix.
And that's exactly where we're headed next. We're going to do a deep dive and break down precisely where that score comes from. We'll look at the individual sounds, the phonemes that were the toughest for you, starting with the ones that have the most room for improvement.
First up, and honestly, this is the most critical area for you to practice, is the American R sound. This one was by far the biggest and most consistent challenge throughout the entire script.
So let's look at why this sound scored a 30. It all comes down to tongue position. See, the American R needs your tongue to pull way back and up, creating this tension in the back of your mouth. In your recording, that movement was often missing. So in words like R, reward, and especially neurotransmitter, the sound came out a bit more like an L sound or maybe a tapped R, and it lost that classic American quality.
Okay, next on our list is the V sound. This is what we call a voiced fricative, and those two words are the whole key to getting this sound right.
So the score here is a 45. And here's the mechanic. To make a V sound, you have to do two things. Put your top teeth on your bottom lip and then vibrate your vocal cords to make a buzzing sound. What happened in the word devices, for example, is that the vibration was a little weak, which makes it sound like an F. Other times, the contact was more lip to lip, which pushes the sound closer to a B. The goal is getting that firm tooth-on-lip contact and a really consistent buzz.
All right, our next sound is one that trips up a ton of learners. It's the dark L. And this isn't just any old L sound. We're talking specifically about the one that comes at the end of a word or after a vowel.
And this one scored a 50. The dark L in a word like roll or feel is actually a two-part motion. Your tongue tip touches up behind your teeth like a normal L, sure, but at the exact same time, the back of your tongue has to raise up towards the roof of your mouth. It's that second part, that back of the tongue lift, that creates the dark, kind of hollow sound. And that was the piece that was often missing, which made the L sound a little flat.
Okay, we've hit a few consonants, so let's switch gears and look at a vowel. Specifically, the short A sound. Ah, like in the word cat.
And this is a perfect example of just how physical pronunciation really is. To get that pure ah sound, you really have to drop your jaw more than you think, and your tongue has to be flat and forward in your mouth. In words you used like addiction and span, the jaw just wasn't dropping quite far enough, and that caused the vowel to shift into a different sound. It's really all about creating enough space in your mouth.
Okay, so we've broken down the individual sounds. Now let's see how they all come together in the real world. Here are the most important words from the script for you to really focus your practice on.
Think of these words as a targeted workout for your mouth. Rewarding and neurotransmitter have multiple R sounds, so they force you to be consistent. Roll is a fantastic practice word because it smashes the R and the dark L right up against each other. Overstimulate tests that tricky transition from a V into an R. And span is your go-to word for checking if you're dropping your jaw enough for that ah vowel.
So we have the diagnosis. But a diagnosis isn't very useful without a treatment plan, right? So let's talk about the path forward. This isn't about just pointing out problems. It's about giving you a clear, actionable plan to fix them. Here it is, your 3-step roadmap to a higher score. First, isolate the sounds. Don't try to fix everything at once. Just start with the R sound. Step 2, practice with minimal pairs. These are words that sound almost identical except for that one target sound, like right and light or vest and best. This will train your ear and your mouth. And third, and this is the most important step, record yourself. Then listen back and compare what you hear to a native speaker. That feedback loop is the secret to making progress fast. And I want to leave you with this idea.
Before this analysis, you might have known something was a little off, but not exactly what. That's called unconscious incompetence. But now you know. You are consciously aware of the targets, the R, the V, the dark L, the A, and that is the most powerful place a learner can be, because now your practice can be laser-focused, super efficient, and incredibly effective.
So the only question left is the one you see right here. This is where the real work begins. I want you to pick one sound, just one, and decide that you are going to master it. So, which one is it going to be?